This time, Yerushalmi Shabbos. In the article Oz V'Hara edition, we are mamish at the top of Lamed Hayom and Aleph, and that in the Vilna is on Daf Kavches Amabez, and it's top line, the fifth word in. Tamantin, it says Vitamantin, but it's really a new issue, so it probably should say Tamantin. If it's a suffix, if it's nightfall or not, you can be tomain, but this is bedava she'enu mosif hevel. And the inference is mineshel chashecha because it's not dark yet. Chashecha, if it's dark, also litmon by now do admana even bedava she'enu mosif hevel, even something which does not add heat. Why? So Tamaramin in Bava they said mibnei bitul beis hamedrash, because the people go home, as the Gourmet says, Shekachem minhagim lichnos beis hamedrash erev Shabbos l'chashecha. Can you compare a comment to the shedorsh b'leil Shabbos? The people would miss the drasha and go home and do atmana. So therefore, they said you can't do atmana when Shabbos begins because then you're not going to stay in the base medrash. Amrei Bar say chashad. He said because of chashad that people are going to say that you actually cooked the pot on Shabbos. Sheim Omer at lo shu mutar. If you're going to say he's allowed to do hatmana even after Shabbos begins, Afuino said also called circle me, but he's not going to be meticulous to cook it entirely before Shabbos begins. He's going to let it cook on Shabbos, and of course with all the pitfalls that come with that. And therefore, we said can't be matmin when Shabbos begins. You have to have off the fire and in the insulation before Shabbos. Mitoshat, Lashu Osir, it says Thomas Osir do it. Afu so cold circle, he does all that is necessary. He fully cooks it before Shabbos begins. Manavik Binem, what's the difference between the two reasons? Litmon, B'shelek V'tzoinin, to do hatmana in the in snow or in cold in general. So the issue of insulating something cold, if it's Adaiti Rabbi Ba, according to Rabbi Ba, it says the issues that you might come to keep the cooking going on Shabbos, so obviously it's not relevant to where you do have monosign cold. Adaiti Rabbi Tamam, according to Rabbi is there, and above, well, there's a bitul beis hamenish, it's possible a bitul beis hamenish by sewn in as well, in order that people are trying to make sure to take care of it, they're going to miss the shear. Okay, the Gemara says asut mina mipnei kira. The explains asut mina latmima davar amoisif hevel. You're not allowed to do atmana with something which adds heat. I feel me by yoim asro. They ask that even me by yoim, lest you come to obviously to cook. Inami, or else he says, there could be say about saying even Hatmana Davar even saying which is not Mosif Hevel, but on Shabbos itself, as we just learned. Shemkira. You might do Hatmana in a oven which has coals in it, and you're going to rake the coals. So Asu Tmina Mne Kira. Asu Kira Mitne Tmina. Asu Kira Mipne Tmina. So you're not allowed to put a stuff in into a kira on account of tmina. Basically, what we learned in third parak, you're not allowed to put it on a kira she'eno grufa ktuma because it might come then to be matmin in the remnants itself, and of course you're going to in the coals and rake the coals. Also, kira shehevla mimuat, they also using putting something in an oven, even if it has low heat. They kira shehevla mimuat because a kira which has a high heat. Is interesting statement of the which I should have read the Kormei before perhaps. B'nei kira, he says Geser Sheman mean bekiro poleg hodamel shasim nei chazara. So there's not according to this. It sounds like the Isra of the Mona is an account of you might come to use the Admozos because of Kira, not because of Chazara. I don't think it makes that much difference actually. Anyway, I should have read the should read part of Karma Eda, which we did because I have it underlined in my Gemara. The next part of Karma Eda says also Kira Grufa Ktum Neit Mina Shem Mikir Sheish Baremetz Kacheles Yachte Begoy V'Shabbos. Basically what we said. Okay, so the Gemara says further. Also, Tavshish is Bashkol Tzorko. They forbade you to do Hatmana by Tavshish is Bashkol Tzorko. The uh, even though it's already fully cooked, now that's a matmin it whether it's Dover Shane Mosi Pebble for Shabbos or even Dover Mosi Pebble for Shabbos, even Dover Shane Mosi Pebble on Shabbos. The Tavshish is Bashkol on account of a Tavshish which is not fully cooked, in which case you have the issues. Also, chamin, mimnei tav shil shel yisbashel kol tzorko. They also answered hot water, even though it's not make of a ralo. It doesn't get, it's not gonna get better over time, because of tav shil shel yisbashel kol tzorko, which of course they uh, it's kind of xera, but they obviously we have to say here that it's all considered to be one large xera. The article tries to diminish that issue by saying that the Aser Chamim Ne Tavshis Bashkol Tzogim Mitztam, which is Mitzdamek Biyofalo. That's really the same issue. Chazmi Tiru Chamin. So then they said, you know what, you're allowed to leave Chamin on the fire, whether that's Mona or Shia. Tani, we learned Ain Tomnim Beremetz. You can't do Hatmana in Remetz, which is the hot ashes, because you might come to rake the coals. Amir said, Hadamra, this teaches us, says the Remetz is also, Eva Shetzana Mutalid Mumbo, that if you have um, uh, ashes which cool down, you are allowed to do Hatmana, and it's not going to be Davar Moisif Hevel. Kadar, like found case, Bardid Rabbi Yanai, Havas Mishamish Kumi Avoy. The daughter of Rabbi Yanai was assisting her father, serving her father. Vavas Malas Kumi Tavshin Roitzkin. And she brought on the table hot dishes. So her father asked her, how do you retain the heat? So Amalek said, she said to him, Kamara begifta. It says here big gifta with a base vav, but the Kikkarana changes it to big gifta with a base and put it in gefes in olive refuse. And when he said lo te have the cane, don't do atmana. Kamara is atmana. Don't do kamara in gefes. Elo kamra go kufta. Put it in a box. V'yoiv kufta al gifta, and put the uh, um, the um, the attached to the artist carbonator. Okay, put it into a box and put the box on the gefes. And evidently, even though it's a dover and moisef hevel, since the interruption is like similar to Garf Kotum, the interruption makes it permissible. Rabbi Zera said, but kind of polik. In this respect, Rabbi China argues. The Rabbi Yaakov Shem Rabbi the Rabbi Yaakov Darshan Rabbi China, Hageves milamaton. If you have a gefes below, underneath the box, the tevin mikan mikan. Now you have straw inside the box, insulating. It's usher. The insulation is usher. It seems to say, well, that's a push-up shot. Umodeba Rabbi Yanai, and Rabbi Yanai concedes the point. Rabbi Yanai just told his daughter it's okay. No, so this is a different case. This is Dover Moise Pebble, the gefes, with the Dover She'ena Moise Pebble, the Tevin, that's no good. So it would have to be a box, which is empty. So in fact, it's not that Rabbi Chia argues, says Gemara. And Rabbi Yana would agree with this. Rabbi Yana said, in a case where it's just a plain box without any Tevin inside, evidently with the gefes on the outside and the Tevin on the inside, that makes it a problem. Reminiscent of Shlomo Zalman's I think it was Shlomo Zalman. No, maybe it was somebody else. Anyway, it was somebody who Paskin, I forget who it was. that you can't put the kishka in in an aluminum foil inside the cholent because it's being not mean the kishka. I don't remember Paskin's way. I'm not Paskin's way. I'm Heisa. A lot of people do it. And but I remember seeing that somebody asked it, and I don't remember who, but that's like kind of like a mixture of. But that's even though it's not really cooking. It's not really that because it's on the fire. But the point is a similar idea. In other words, hatmana davar she'ena ma'isiv hevel in a davar ma'isiv hevel. Okay, so the next word achin, the is the carbon A changes to achin, and uh, either say it's avin. It's a name. Boy Balalan. Um, either Avin asked or Achain, but indeed it's a question. Balalan mine. Mix them together. Okay, the if you mix davar ma'asev hevel with davar she'ena ma'asev hevel, what's the status there? I'm not sure exactly what the question is. 1 second. Carmenade explains. He says, uh, uh, um, "Im umutar also the kshem nivlali muravim when they're mixed together. Ma'akit tfei hachoim. It impedes the heat more mishiv sikrat temino kupa b'makam echol ibneatzo than where there you have the barrier of the teven or the kupa. That might not be as good as where it all got mixed together because the mixing together perhaps diminishes the heat quotient of the gefes, now making more mutter. So Gemara says, Shemina me'ada. Let's derive from here. Time meksus uperos kanfe yoina. You can you can do hadmana with clothing and with fruit and with kanfe yoina. So way Pnei Moshe learns it's that only these things the Mishnah is allowed. So it's mashma that if it was you're allowed to do it, they're mixed together. So Mishnah tells bigger chiddush than not just these things separate by themselves, but mixed together with the davar ma'asev hevel, the davar she'ena ma'asev hevel makes it more of a missile because it reduces the heat, right? Evidently it's not mutter if they're mixed together. According to Pnei Moshe, the next statement is a separate statement. Rabbi Yosef ben Paz Shem said, now those things which were the Mishnah allowed are only if they didn't start rotting. If they start rotting, it's forbidden to do atmana in them, even if they're davar which is not mosif hevel, because they started rotting and rotting releases heat. According to Carbon A, that's one long statement. According to the same that that's not the raya yet. The raya is from the end. So does it take from this part, and it's continuation. If there's, he's saying that the only that a mixture is good as long as the rotting part is not more. If the rotting part is more, then asid momba. Asid momba. So he's saying that you can use these substances, which is new in the Mishnah, in a mixture with the substance in the Mishnah. Mishnah doesn't mean they have to be separate. No, they can be mixed together as long as the rotting part, the davar ma'asev hevel, is not more than the not rotting part. Okay, v'lo b'chol. So it sounds like sand is a davar ma'asev hevel, right? So the more I ask, wait, Tamati we learned over there in Basra. Matin also, you can lay out a mace on Shabbos and Chol, and then in order that it should cool down. So, what do you mean? It's not in Shabbos. No, that's the next line. This is in Shabbos later on. Daf Kuf Nun from Rav and Shabbos. So now he meant so so the so it's sand cools down. So how can you say that it's also insulate? So, Heichol Amirtach Ruascha Mitzan Tzorina. It says sand has different properties. It can heat up and cool down. The uh, the here it goes into Tevin, but it's the same principle as Chol. Tevin Baal Pikanu Kamada Atz Yoiv Lehu Yoiv Loch. Whatever you put into it, it gives back to you. So in other words, it reflects. It's an insulator, so it reflects what you put into it. So therefore, it can be mostly pebble. It can be mostly core, depending on what's inside it. Therefore, Chazal therefore gave it a status of davar shosi pebble. If you put something hot in it, it radiates that heat back. Even though cool radiates cool, heat irradiates heat. So it's depends on what it is. Ushakim Shula once gave a little bit of scientific explanation. He says that sand absorbs the evaporated, it's the evaporation of things which were boiled, and it turns them into water, and through this it produces heat. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so says Gemara further. Um, because anything which you have distance from a wall because it's bad for the wall, of course, it's composed of basra. You have to be distance from a wall, because they're destructive of the wall. They also now do one of those things. Rabbi Yossi said the flip side of that is from that which it says over in there. In our Mishnah, really, that you can do. So you do atmana with certain things. They must be things that you don't have to serve the wall. Hey, see, Rabbi Chagai. So Rabbi Chagai asked the question. But time we have brisa. Tosefta, it seems. Hamaskir bais chaver lesan otzar shel tvua. Somebody who rents out a house to his friend, he should not make it the friend should not make a warehouse of grain. Laida mila. Bnei Moshe says, "Eza davar." Klomar, my time of thy milsa. Why is that? Lamish bnei mochel hatvua is not because of the chaff of the grain. Shemakal kaiso, which wounds the wall. They tell me echad varim shetoinibo, and the tevin is something which you can use. The tevin pikanu. It says the tevin is about pikanu. The time sees that which says Mishnah lo betevin haydavka nosos svivos davar cham. It's only if you put it in something hot in it. But otherwise, if you put something cold in it, it's not going to heat it up. So it's difficult. Rabbi Yossi says something which you do got mana. You don't have this is in front of your friends wall. And here you see that Tevin is an issue. You have to sit in front of the wall. You can't make an Osher Tvua in the rented house. So lie to me, let me name moats. China said, no, it's not because of the moats. It's because of the mice. So that's evidently the mice are an issue, which is unfair to impose on the landlord. Because said if it's on account of the mice, they say feel otza shekol davar. So then it's anything should be a problem, and at least any food stuff should create a problem of mice. So, but why specifically grain? Heavy yos kasha b'chagai. So kasha is good kasha. I don't think the more answers it. Yeah, the more goes on to another question. Asper Shimon, Rabbi Shimon asks, how are you slowing stones? Marchiko Samir Kaiso, you have to distance them from the wall. So the question is, you shouldn't be allowed to do at one of them. So if the issues are linked, so why are you allowed to admona in stones? So Rabbi Yochanan said, "Lo it's not the stones cause heat, which is that would bad for the wall. Seen chaluda, they cause usually chaluda means rust, but here it means they grind down the dirt and and that weakens the foundations of the wall. So so that is so it's not a heat issue, and therefore by slime there's no linkage. They market they grind things down. They market which ruins the ground under the wall. Vatani ain't tummy slime. So says, well, yeah, but they're flip it around. We have Bryce says you can't do atmara by slime, and obviously if the issue is that they will make a fartichok, they may grind down the dirt. It shouldn't apply. What's the problem? So to put the slime shel kesef. There's a specifically to use silver. Use silver stones, and Yerushalmi Shabbos it says that again. This is a scientific explanation. I don't know if it's true or not true because of the affinity of silver to sulfur. So therefore, which and you find that in several organic substances have an affinity to silver, and when silver turns into, I guess this is a compound AgS, it heats up. Okay, so therefore it's that is some sort of issue, which specifically you have with stones of silver, and I guess sloim means here then not stones but coins. In other words, so, don't think that sloim in Tosefta is stones of silver. It's stones. It's coins, silver coins specifically because they have some problem which causes them to heat up when they come to kind of with sulfur or they start rusting, whatever. These tiny time listoim, these tiny ain't time. So now we're on the topic of coins. Switch from slime as stones to slime as coins. So some says you can't do it. Some say one guy says you can't do it. Mono with coins says otherwise you can't. Because the man that Taiman shows up shon cheshes. When it says you can, that's with gold and copper coins. Mandamar ain't timnin bisloim shel bisloim shel kesef. When it says you can't do it, it's with silver coins. The next issue in the Mishnah, we're talking about you can't do atmana not with tevin, not with muchin, not with zugin, not with grass. Sabim is manchin lachin. So when it says lo sov davar lo sov davar lachin, it's not just when they are moist from the beginning. In other words, that they remain moist from the time of harvesting or whatever. I feel basically even they got dried. She's lachu me'ilen muchin, but they got they got moist, and not that they got moist as a result of the mukin, but rather the raya for this. It says mukin muchat afi lachin machos davar acher osur. Because this is like flock from made of fabric. Mukin lav kiyabesha yishlachuin is a mukin kiyabesha yishlachu. They are they're dry when when the fabric is fabricated. They are dry, so and they will get moist afterwards. Also here the same thing. Rabbi Yochanan Bashila said, "Hadamar, this teaches us hain the kamar aida the." It says, "Haiman the matmin ba'adog kamar b'hanach the time asisin matmin yubesh lo lachlichin." Somebody who's matmin with these substances, tzar mechasei tzivchar. He has to see that the cup or the cup or the pot she puts in is a little bit not full to the top, so missing a little bit. To ask him masive, because otherwise, if you're going to put it there, shafcha, he's going to spill it, and metacha, and it's going to heat up it's going to make a davar ma'asif hevel. Maybe Moshe says the same thing. Yeah, they all basically say the same thing. Okay, the next thing is a new issue, and it's the top of above and out. So we'll stop here for today.